Welcome back, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. We need to talk Trump, tariffs, stock market, Bitcoin, and all that in this video. I'm going to try to make it very short and sweet and not to talk too much about it so we don't get confused. First thing first, let's talk about tariffs. We've been listening to this drama for over a month now. Everything has been crashing because of Donald Trump's tariff initiative that he took, and as a result, all the companies have started retaliating towards tariffs, and they started imposing tariffs on US as well, particularly China. Trump was of the opinion that China is going to bend their knees as quickly as he opens up his mouth, which he's probably used to have people bending down their knees to him. And the problem is he doesn't realize this is not your personal business that you're running, it's the nation that you're running as a president. And people who have been bending down to you is because they were your personal employees working for you as a business owner. Most of them, maybe they were illegal immigrants who will just take whatever you were offered to them. And some of them, even the large companies, they will bend down their knees because they work in the US, they have their businesses in the US, they have their companies in the US, and they probably don't want to have any legal implications on them, or they don't want to have any hurdles running their business in the US. But when you're dealing with the global economy and the leaders of the global nations, you have to be very mindful of what you say to them, because as the US president, or as a president of any country, you cannot run the country in this time and age on its own. You could never run the country on your own individually. The countries have always dependent, the economies have always depended upon each other, and they have always worked together to make things work since the barter trading ages. If you couldn't go to other areas out of your own territory and sell your products and services to other people, your economy would suffer, your people would die of hunger, and that's exactly what happens now. Now it's even more, because most of our products, what Trump doesn't understand, he's been waiting for a phone call from China that they will come down, they'll bend their knees, yada yada yada, all that stuff. The problem is he doesn't. I was actually listening to one of the government officials on one of the leading news channels, and he was like, "Well, the Chinese economy depends on us, and they don't understand that if they don't bend their knees to us, we will not. They will not be able to survive." I don't know what these guys are smoking. Somebody needs to put some sense into them. Chinese economy does not depend on us as much as the US economy depends on China. But they don't understand that most of our products are being manufactured in China, and they're being imported from China, and we are not prepared as a nation to have the production started in the country. It will take us at least 5 to 10 years to build new industries, to have our people trained to start producing in the US, and start manufacturing in the US, and we haven't even taken the initiative to do that. Our industries are not built, our people are not trained. We're banning the immigration, which this country is being run by immigrants, because the US, unfortunately, lots of people may defer to agree with me, but it's a fact. I've been living here for more than 25 years, and I've seen the US individuals are not skilled employees. They are lazy, and they don't have the mindset to work hard or get that proper education and the skill set that's needed to run the different sectors of the economy. And that's why US has always welcomed immigration, because people from other countries come. It's like the brain drain. All the intellectuals, the educated ones, the people with skill set, with degrees, they come to US, and they run these large industries and large tech sectors, which US economy depends on. Um, so that being said, for Trump to think that China is going to come and bend down knees to him, I think he's delusional. He's a 5 years old running the country, sitting in the Oval Office. Somebody needs to whisper some sense into him. The problem is the entire cabinet that he has selected, it's all his people, and they don't want to say anything to him. They're the kind of people who are yes sir kind of person, and nobody is telling him the truth and showing him the reality. The other thing that he's very delusional about, I usually try to be very non-biased, non-political, but right now everybody's hurting, individuals are hurting, I am hurting, my portfolio is hurting, and I'm pretty sure you guys all feel the same way. The other thing that he's very delusional about, he was like, "Oh, we're collecting $2 trillion a day in tariffs revenue." The biggest bull I've ever heard. He is not even collecting anywhere, maybe 10% of the amount that he's claiming that he's collecting in tariff revenue, because our tariff revenue is not that great, and we're not making that much money. So for him to think that he's collecting $2 trillion a day in tariffs revenue, I don't know where the hell he's getting all those numbers from. Somebody needs to show him the facts and show him the actual numbers and make sure that he understands that what he's doing is not working. People are suffering, and it's not going to be too long when even the very close people to him are going to say, this is the time that you need to back off, and you need to come to the conclusion and come to the common terms with other nations, so that we can have our country run smoothly, so we can survive, we can pay our bills. So I went to the butcher shop the other day to get some halal meat, and my bill was like twice as much that it used to be, and I was like, what happened to the prices? And the guy was so sad. He was like, everything has gone up at least a couple of dollars per pound because of Trump. And I was like, is it because of tariffs? He said, yes. When we go to get the meats from the wholesale markets or butchers, he was like, the prices have gone up so much. The animals that we get to slaughter, they've gone up in price. So ultimately, we have to raise our prices, because otherwise we're not going to be profitable at all. And she was like, we're losing lots of customers because so many people can't even afford to buy meat anymore, which is kind of sad. And even I felt the pain. I'm lucky that I can afford it, but there are so many people who have odd jobs, who work at minimum wage. They don't have the amount of money to feed their children, to put the food on the table, to pay their bills, to pay their mortgages. It's kind of crazy, and Trump needs to realize that. The other thing that I want to talk about is the stock market. Of course, as a result of this retaliatory tariffs, China coming back and putting more tariffs on America is kind of affecting the stock market, particularly the automobile industry, Tesla in general, because our automobile industry totally depends on China. Lots of the parts and cars are being manufactured in China, which are being imported ultimately, and as a result, we're not able to afford the price of manufacturing the parts that we need. China has also recently stated that he is going to take, if any other country trades with the U.S. And impose sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to make it and put it in simple English and simple words. China has suggested that if any other country will have trade deals with the U.S., which will affect China, China is going to impose retaliatory tariffs on those nations. What does that mean? That means if any other country will make a deal with the U.S., which is going to affect the Chinese market, and it's going to add more tariffs to China's imports, China is going to, as a retaliation, impose higher tariffs to those nations, which means ultimately even the other countries who may be able to send cheaper products or import cheaper products to us, they probably are going to deny that as well, because nobody wants to hurt their own economy, because they have to work with the U.S. government. So this trade war is just continually going on. The other thing, Chinese government is very smart. They've been working for past 5 years, building the relationship with the other nations within Asia, which they call their Asian family or Asian brotherhood or something like that. And they are fully, or almost 80%, covered by those nations who can have the trade deals with the China, and they don't need to even depend, the little bit dependence that they have on the U.S. economy, they don't even need to depend on that. So they have a backup plan, whereas the U.S. government has stuck its nose into something which it's not even prepared for. It doesn't have a backup plan. It has not done anything in the past 5 or 10 years that if they ever need to go into this trade war, they could have a backup plan where they can start manufacturing in the U.S. and they just got themselves into putting all these restrictions on the other nations, whereas Chinese have a backup plan that if they ever go to trade war with any of the countries, and particularly U.S., which they were probably anticipating that it would happen, they have already had a back plan to work with their Asian nations where they can have the trade deals with them, and they don't have to rely on the U.S. economy completely. Now, the effects on the stock market, the effects on the housing market, the effects on everyday life of the people has been very uh, tremendous because the stock market crashed. Nobody knows what to expect. Automobile industry is crashing because most of the parts manufacturing takes place in China, and now because we have retaliatory tariffs coming from China, of course we cannot have our production done there. Elon Musk, if you ever watch his interviews, you can see the stress on his face. But the problem is, he's so stuck with Doge that he just cannot get out of this now anymore. And as a result, he's suffering. Um, there was a rumor that he may be getting out of Doge late May, early June, because his 100-day special U.S. special government employee status is going to end. So we're just hoping that he will come out of Doge and maybe start focusing on his companies, particularly Tesla and X and XAI. Tesla has been suffering. The latest price that I saw today was, I think, $223 this morning. It crashed another 5% this morning, 10% this morning. Sorry, just double check on that. And Tesla is reporting their earning tomorrow, which we all anticipate that earnings are going to be horrible. It's going to be suffering. The outlook, we don't know what the outlook is going to be. I know he was shutting down production in China because he cannot afford to produce in China anymore because of the tariffs. So that is going to have an impact because Chinese Gigafactory was one of the largest manufacturing outside of the US that he had. So that is going to have an impact on it. So hopefully, I'm just guessing that by after this first quarter's earning report, the companies will probably put some pressure on Trump, because I know most of the companies will be suffering in this earning report. Their stock is going to crash, and these CEOs and CFOs are not going to be happy. I also read that Mark Zuckerberg has sold a large number of shares recently. Also, Jamie Dimon has sold a large number of shares, which market is scratching their head thinking, what are these people know that we don't know that they're preparing for in the coming months? So as far as a result, the dollar is skyrocketing. The gold is going higher, and I think the Bitcoin is also going to touch $110,000 because the digital gold, the actual gold, and the dollar is going higher because all the other equities are suffering in the market right now because of the tariff problems. So if you were holding gold, congratulations. I know I have lots of gold. All the Desis, Indians, Pakistanis have lots of gold. It's mostly in the form of jewelry, but it still goes up in price, which makes me happy. At least I'm making some money somewhere. I'm in profit somewhere. So I think as a result, Bitcoin, as you see this morning even, it just ran up quite a bit. It was at $87,000 last time I checked before recording this video. So I think Bitcoin is going to hit $110,000, which was an all-time high for Bitcoin, if this Trump drama doesn't get away. The the housing market is also struggling. I live in a town where there's not lots of land, and usually the houses are just sold instantly, like in a blink of an eye, because people, it's a very desirable neighborhood, it's a good school district, people want to buy a house, but there is no new construction going on. So when somebody sells a house, they always go over the asking price, and the houses are sold like immediately. But with the interest rates being so high and economy struggling, I see that so many houses are standing on the market for over a month and not even a single offer on them. As a result, the real estate market is struggling. The other drama that Donald Trump came up with is firing Jerome Powell. I don't like 100% disagree with him. I feel like the Fed should not even be there. Jerome Powell should not even exist as a Fed chairman. If you watch my videos on economy and currency and finance, I have a series of videos that I have recorded. I'm still going to record some more and upload them. It kind of explains what the role of the federal government and the and the state bank is. And I don't completely disagree, but I think this is the wrong time to bring up this agenda. He called him Mr. Too Late, and he was like, letting go of Jerome Powell could not come any sooner. Like, he just cannot wait to fire Jerome Powell because he wants him to cut the rates. And Jerome Powell He was like, no, I'm data dependent. Data is telling me not to do this with a no rush. I'm going to take my time and then decide whether I want to cut the rates or not. And as a result, I guess the stock market is not liking the idea of Jerome Powell existence being eliminated as a federal chairman, which is why the stock market is crashing this morning. During this long weekend, the Easter Sunday weekend, I was hoping that some progress will take place. I think everybody in the market was hoping that some progress will take place and Donald Trump will at least come to some negotiations with some nations. But it also turns out that he's not even ready, and he doesn't even know what he wants from other nations. For example, Japan came forward; they're willing to negotiate, but then Trump administration didn't know what they want from them, I guess, and that's not a very good sign. As a leader of the nation, at least you should have a game plan. You just can't expect to give me all. No one's going to give it all to you. At least learn how to negotiate and what do you want, which is more important to you as a U.S. president, and which is more important to you as a nation leader to run the economy, which he probably doesn't know, because he doesn't have the intellect, in my opinion, to even understand what he's doing. So Japan turned around and they went back because there was no negotiation deal that was made, because Donald Trump didn't know what to ask of them. At least have some game plan. So he's, I don't know, is he expecting that give everything to me that I want, or that you have to offer? No one's going to do this. No one's going to offer everything to you. Of course, people want to negotiate. They want to give up some, and they want you to give up some. Anyways, so he wants to get rid of Jerome Powell. He wants him to lower the rates because he thinks, oh well, they have to bail out the economy. So I guess the outcome of this video is this buy the dip opportunity? It's a very tough choice to make. For some people, they think we have already seen the worst, and I think the market cannot go any lower than this. I listen to lots of analysts, and they have mixed opinion. Most of them think that we have seen the worst, and the market is not going to go down any further. However, in my opinion, I think until Jerome Powell decides that they're going to lower the rate and they capitulate, that shows that the Fed is panicking, and that's when most fear comes into the market, and the market is going to crash, and that's where it's going to be the best time to buy. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. Could you miss on opportunities? Probably. I am buying little amount of shares though, because market has come down so much that the prices look pretty juicy to me, but I'm not investing heavy into the equities right now, because I want to wait and see if the market goes down more. Of course, it's going to give me a better buying power, but if the market starts going up, then you can buy high and sell higher. You're still going to make money. But if you think that you don't want to miss out on the opportunity, nothing wrong with nibbling a little bit on the stocks and equities that you really like. That's what I have been doing. So that being said, it's a 50-50. For some people, they think the market is going to crash even more, and they are going to, because when the Fed turns around, take 180-degree turn and says, okay, we're going to cut rates and we're going to bail out the market, that's going to be the best time to invest into the market. But some people are of the opinion, most of them are of the opinion, the market has already seen its worst, and it's time the stock market, the individuals, the traders start buying the dip now. All I know is the loss of the retails have been buying the dip, but I think institutions are holding back and they're waiting to see which direction this whole drama is going to go, and then they will start buying into the equities. So that's my game plan. I'm just nibbling a little bit, but I'm not investing heavy. I have cash sitting on the sidelines, so if the market goes down more, it's going to give me a better buying opportunity. But even if it starts going up, I'll still have a better opportunity as far as the prices. They have come down quite a bit. That even if it goes up a little bit, 5 or 10%, we'll still make more money. So stay tuned. I hope everything works out for everybody. Just be very careful, be wise, and make choices. Again, if you see some stock has rallied or you have made some profit, I think it's still sell the rip immediately, because there's lots of uncertainty in the market. I think people are getting very close after the first quarter earning. Companies are going to put pressure, so I think we have one more month of pain at least before everything starts calming down a little bit. Because once companies have bad earnings and people start worrying, then they're going to put pressure on Donald Trump and the administration and say, we need to do something. You need to work out with other nations and kind of bail us out pretty much. And I think that's where things are going to get better. So stay tuned for my upcoming videos. I'm sorry I was missing for a long time. It's just this is not my source of income. I do it as a fun on as just because I like talking about stocks and economies, and it's just my favorite subject. So if you watch my videos, please keep watching them. I know they're not very often, but again, even if I don't record it, there's so many people who are talking about things. The mainstream media, the social media people have been recording video, and I think everybody gets the juice of it and the gist of it. As far as my perspective is concerned, I think good time to buy small amounts now. You can still wait and hold your cash and see if you can get a better opportunity to buy. And don't in and if you make money on something and you make profit, don't hesitate to sell as well, because there's still uncertainty. It could be that you are in profit 10-20% today, and tomorrow you could lose it all. So you can always go back and buy those stocks again if you really like them, but at the same time you're doing swing trades or day trades and you're making some money off of it. That's what I've been doing. I have been selling some of the equities which have been giving me 10-15% profit, and then they dip again, so I buy back again, which is kind of making me some money even in this terrible situation. So give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Please give me your perspective and feedback in the comment section below. Until next video, take care, be safe out there, and make some money. Bye.